The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am your host, Benjamin Dixon. Today is Monday, February 17, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to spend some time with us. Michael Bloomberg. If people want to understand why I am focusing so much on Michael Bloomberg, it's because he is the quintessential. He literally is a billionaire stepping down from his throne of opulence down into our world and snatching the one thing that we have left from us. Most of us are standing on the edge of hopelessness. Most of us are struggling every single day. Most of us, the everyday people, most of us in the everyday world down here, we have been struggling for so long, and we finally get this conversation, and we participated in this system when it took everything from us. We participated in the system when it stripped away from us all of our wealth, all of our money, all of our time, all of our health, all of our loved ones. We stayed in this system and we worked because we had a hope that one day we'd be able to change our material conditions through the system. We hoped. Most of us keep going to work every day, even though we don't make enough to live. We keep going because in the back of our minds, it's going to work eventually. Every single person listening to me, that I don't care what stage of economic wealth that I don't care what part of our American strata you're a part of. The fact is that you have experienced living on the edge, and the only reason you're still here is because you have hope that you just have hope. Hope. And that's exactly what these motherfuckers are trying to take from us. Hope. I'm sorry. I know I laugh for not crying, right? I laugh a lot on this show because underneath it, I am furious. I am furious at the conditions that we are in. Now, we'll be back to laughter and fun tomorrow, guys. We'll get back to, matter of fact, the Patron party is coming up momentarily, so everyone can relax. It's going to be an enjoyable show. And I know that this opening is rather intense, but the problem is our problems are intense. And most of us are hanging on by a thread because of hope. You want to know what the class warfare, the real class warfare of 2020 is not just to take our money from us, because they've got our money already. It's not to keep us participating in the system, even though we're not getting anything out of it. They've got that already. They've got our money. They've got our participation. And the last thing they have to get rid of to keep this system working is our hope. And that's what Michael Bloomberg represents. He represents to a lot of us the concentration of wealth that is capable of coming down and taking that last thing away from us. Hope that we can build something better than we currently have. And that's what you want to take from us. Okay. Do you think that's in? You really think that's in? I mean, that doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Because people can keep operating. Most of us. All right. Let's come out the opening. Let's come out of the opening. Shake it loose. All right. Should I put some music right there? Make everybody loosen up a little bit. Let's drop a little beat real quick. And then we come back. I will explain that the fact that most of us are not the vast majority of us are not remotely interested in a violent revolution. We're not. We want stability. And I'll talk about that when we come back. Loosen up. It's fine. It's fine, people. I promise. Hilarious. Listen, when I tell you the Patron episode today is going to be next level. I'm going to tell you now, the Patron episode is going to be next level. Something that you've never heard before. Go to patreon.com/the BPD show. Why? Because I have to still operate in the system. Somebody's going to say, oh, he's talking a class analysis. He's talking about socialism. So, and it's so ironic that he's doing it on an iPhone, on a Mac. Aren't you brilliant? Aren't you just, man, like it really took you a long time to piece that argument together. The fact is that we are all in this world. We are all in this system, and we have no choice but to participate if we want to live, if we want to survive. Okay. And so some of us make a strategy and we make a plan on how we're going to not only survive, but how we're going to help break other people free. Okay. And so sometimes that requires that we use the exact system that we are in to work against the system that we are in. And so when I spend $2,500 on a goddamn Mac, knowing good and damn well I should not be spending that kind of money, right? But I do it. I make that investment because I know I'm going to need that equipment to get my voice out there to tell the people that we don't have to put up with this, that we do not have to put up with the games that they're playing. This thing with Michael Bloomberg is a big effing game. It's a game to him. He can take his pocket change to amongst his buddies. Michael Bloomberg said, watch this. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to use my pocket change and I'm going to buy this democracy. How much do you want to bet that conversation happened? It's a bet. They have a bet between them. If he could actually pull it off. Do you know how much money he's going to make? You think Donald Trump fleeced America? Wait till Bloomberg becomes president of the United States. He is going to make billions of dollars off of being president. Not by taking tax dollars. No, that's not creative enough. What you do now is you bring in contractors, ultimately is tax dollars, but you don't embezzle it. You don't do it straight. You don't do it stupidly like a lot of, well, anyway, I'm not going to say that. Some politicians don't know how to milk the system. Some politicians come in like Donald Trump's dumbass and he directs people to his hotel. Go to my hotel. Let's go down to Mar-a-Lago. And they'll steal about $100 million, $150 million of tax dollars. But then other politicians come in and they change the entire system so that they get a windfall profit for the rest of generations to come. They change the entire system to benefit them. Ronald Reagan came in and it wasn't going to be good enough just to send over a couple of $1 billion to their defense contractors. They've been doing that. What do they do now? They change the entire economic structure, the entire tax structure. I guess I got to go back to Donald Trump because he came in and did the same thing with the 2019 tax. So he did both. Donald Trump came in and did both. He's doing the low-hanging fruit of collecting tax dollars very directly from the tax coffers to Mar-a-Lago, right? But on the flip side, he changed the capital gain structure. He's changed the structure so now that it's even easier for corporations to exist in this economy, in our system, and give nothing and take everything. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the way we design our tax structure, the way we design our system, our tax laws in specific determines our choices in terms of how we're going to organize our society. Our tax code basically are the chains of capitalism, right? And if we drop that tax code so low, that tax burden on billionaires and millionaires and corporations so low, they have an advantage that it is a regressive system because of the structure of those entities and because of the head start that the billionaires had. Let me see if I can make it plainer. The best way to make it plain is to say, if you take the brakes off of these companies, they can make unseen profits and that's literally the language that they use, right? They use that language. But what they don't tell you is that when these companies are making these profits, that was never going to trickle down. That was never going to get down to the street level where you and me are, where we are, where down to the street level where people, I tweeted last night, I tweeted last night, about people in their material conditions being in a bad spot. And you have some people who are so, I don't have health insurance because I could not afford $700 a month or even $500 a month. And then the $11,000 deductible, right? So I'm out here living without health insurance. That's fine. I've been blessed enough to be pretty healthy up until this point. Now, if after I get a doctor and I find out that I really haven't been that healthy, it's not because I'm not healthy. My genes are still pretty good, right? My genes are, my dad, we all have very healthy bodies. We just don't take care of them, right? That's the oxymoron there, but that's besides the point. The point is that I have a material problem for which I am participating in the political system to remedy. Some of these centrists and these liberals are participating in this politics thing because it's their sport. It's their soap opera. It is their thing where they go to get drama. It's a game. Just like it's a game to the billionaires at the top who are coming down here saying, I bet I could buy this democracy for $250 million. It's literally like a sketch that we saw Michael Bloomberg in. It's a game for him. But so too for a lot of centrists who don't have these problems because they have the spoils of a system that is gone. They have the spoils of a system that allowed them to have a home. A system that allowed them to be able to make a livable wage. That system was ripped away from us by a president who came in and changed the entire economic paradigm. Ronald Reagan changed the entire economic paradigm to the point where now we've given all the benefit to the rich and to corporations who have no responsibility to this society from which they derive their wealth. None. They can make $11 billion in a single quarter in profits and not pay a zero dime in taxes. Meanwhile, you and I are paying up everything that we have into this system. Our labor, our work, our time, our treasure, all of it goes in and we get nothing in return.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.
All right. Well, I thought about not putting the patron party here because the episode is so deep, but I think that's all the more reason to start with a patron party. Very special welcome to Barbara Craven. I see you. Thank you so much early this morning. Very special thank you to Stephen James for becoming a patron. Dayon Lehman. Very special thank you to David Gallanders, Margaret Okazumi, Mr. Wong, Anthony T. Tavernia. There we go. Very special welcome to Tracy Reynolds, Gage Dumpke. Sorry, Gage. I know I pronounced that wrong. Adam Langston Wilkins. Very special thank you to Bavash Mystery. Yeah, I tried. And Hector Solar, thank you for becoming a patron. Very special thank you to Paul. Hey, Paul, I still appreciate your contribution very much so. Thank you so much, Paul. Very special thank you to Taylor. Very special thank you to Patrick Stanley. Christina Mills. Hey, sis. Juan Vasquez, Jason Lurie, Sydney Lurdine. I think, you guys listen to this to hear me mess up the names. Sydney, Teresa, Bash, Brian, Mary, Michael, Matt, Daniel, Yuri, and Team IDE, Sarah Hayter. So many patrons. Marco, there's so many patrons. I know that I'm missing, but somebody gave me a great recommendation. When we go to the video show, I'll be able to put your name on the screen. That will help out a lot. And yes, we are going to do the video show. I just did not expect that we were going to blow past 500 patrons that quickly. Not when we started off with 3 patrons and we stayed at 3 patrons for, man, I think we had 3 patrons for all of 2 years. It was pretty bad. But we consistently did the work. We consistently just every day showed up and looked at our condition, right? We cover politics, but this is what presidential politics is about. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is that when the real thing here is what we can do in terms of healthcare, what we can do in terms of this environment, what we can do in terms of this tax code to make sure that instead of having a society where so many people have nothing and so few people have everything. Folks, this is a story. This is a struggle that is as old as time itself. You're going to always have the have and the have-nots. And the real question is, will we be able to find a way to work together where everyone can have enough? Most of us don't really care. We're not jealous of your opulence. We're not jealous of billionaires. We don't resent you because, we might resent the gold toilet. Like that's some resentful ass shit. Like, honestly, yeah, that's a problem, right? Eating golden donuts. Cause now you're just rubbing it. You're rubbing it in our faces, right? You're rubbing it in our faces. Most of us don't have $1,000. No, most of us don't have $400. And those of us who have $400, we have it in an account that's not tied to anything else, because those overdraft fees will eat our little emergency fund away, right? And then those of us who have enough money to not worry about going into overdraft, you are so tied up in bills. You are so tied up, strangled, and you're living check to check to check. And you're trying to make sure nobody really sees the fact that you don't have as much as you put on. That's a terrifying thing to be exposed when everybody around you thinks you have money, but you really don't. Right? And then some of you actually have some cash, right? You have some cash, but because of the structure of our system, you're taking care of everybody. Got it? You're taking care of everybody. You're a millionaire, but you can't enjoy your fucking millions because you got to take care of your brother. You got to take care of your niece. You got to take care of all of the people in this system who have been torn apart by the system. Riddle me this. You think your nephew is a bum. Right? You think your nephew just doesn't want to get it right. You think he's lazy. That's why he doesn't have any money. Okay. Multiply that by 100 people. You might have 100 lazy people. Multiply that by 1,000. Good chance you will have 1,000 lazy people. 100,000. Okay. A million people. Okay. Now we're talking about 10 million, 120 million. Most of this country is living in the exact condition that you think your nephew is he's lazy. That means it is a systemic problem. And I'm not talking to the capitalist. I'm talking to the millionaire right now. The millionaire who's been looking down on his family and his friends because he has had the responsibility of and you're not even a millionaire, actually. I'm sorry. I'm talking to people who are making like $120,000 a year. It replicates itself from the top to the bottom. If your labor, if you're working, if you have to get up and go clock and punch in some hours, punch in a clock and put in some hours, then you are susceptible to exactly what I'm talking about. Right? You are. And all of us are down here struggling, just different levels, right? And don't get me wrong, millionaire. This is not, we know your situation is not the same as those of us who don't know if we're going to be able to stay in our house tomorrow. I don't want you to think that I'm drawing a false equivalence here, that these people who have millions of dollars, that they don't have the option of just cutting off their loved ones, and then they'll be safe. Right. And even if they keep paying for their loved ones, they never have to go afraid of not being able to pay, buy food. OK, I want to make sure that we're clear that I'm not drawing a false equivalence. But what I am saying is that we are all in a very similar struggle, on the edge of survival. And if we miss one paycheck, it's all over. One, I want you to understand that we are all in this situation together. I see you. Y'all see me. Like, I feel like I always have to try to explain myself to the audience, and the audience is just like, no, Ben, we know who you are. We know your situation. We know you ain't got a whole lot. We know, we could tell by the way you dress that you ain't got a whole lot. And I'm over here trying to pretend like I'm somebody. No. Y'all see me and I see you, and I see the people who are struggling, to find somewhere to sleep tonight. Right? And the appearance that the world sees them, the world would never know that they're struggling like that. Because social media, I hate to just throw that into this equation, but now we have the opportunity. We're all walking amongst each other every single day, all day long, passing each other up, either in real life or on social media, and have no idea how hard the struggle is for the person we just passed up. We have no idea. We see each other online, but we really have no idea how hard the struggle is for the people that we interact with. And what does it even matter? I don't know. Hell, I'm just trying to let you know that that group of people at the bottom, we have coalesced. See, you don't understand. No, actually, and here's the thing. I think you do understand. I think there's some people in the middle who don't understand, but the elite, they understand. That's why they're jumping in this thing, to keep control, to put out the fire of populism, to put out the fire of class consciousness, to put out the fire and snatch from us the one thing that we had hope for, that we could someday change our material conditions through this system. That was the hope that many of us were standing on the edge of the precipice hoping for. I mean, just teetering back and forth between being, okay, we'll leave that entire segment. We'll take that to the patrons section. Patrons only. We'll have that conversation. But we're all struggling, man. We're all struggling. And I started off by saying, I want you to understand why I am so intent, while I'm making it clear that Michael Bloomberg cannot become the nominee. Because for those of you who would support him, this is a game. This is a game, and you don't have any material condition skin in the game. I need health care, not as a joke, because I know that probably by the last time I went to the doctor about 2 years ago, Ben, everything's fine. You just need to lose some weight. I lost a little weight, but I've gone through so much over this last year that by the next time I see a doctor, they're probably going to say, holy shit, what the hell happened to you, boy? And I just want you to understand that, and for all intents and purposes, I'm lucky. I'm doing okay for myself. We actually have we used to live in a hovel in Boston because of the price of rent. We were making good money. We were making great money. And no. Let me say this. We were making enough money that we should be able to survive in this system comfortably. Right? Between the two of us, we were making about 140, and my side hustles, we were making about $140,000 a year. And about 120,000. Just give or take, depending on how well I did on the side. But we had nothing. Nothing. Because childcare cost us $2,500 a month. A little 2-bedroom hovel cost us $2,200 a month. Right? Not to mention transportation to the city. If we either had to keep gas in our car and wear and tear on our car, or we had to use a public transportation system that cost us $300, $250 a month each to get to work. You see what I'm saying? So every step of the way, from the time we have children to the time we try to get to work, you have already extracted everything. You've taken from us everything. Before we make our first dollar down here, you've already got it. If not because of bad decisions and, we got into some bad, credit card, or we participated in this system and we bought a television, you know what I mean? And we're still paying, little consumerism that messes us up. Fine. We're in a situation where our material conditions, we are in a situation where we can't afford to make a single mistake. We down here cannot afford to make a single financial mistake, or else we are tossed into the abyss of hopeless material conditions. It all spirals down. It all spirals down from one mistake. And you have the nerve to look at us and say, we're lazy? Did you know how hard we work down here? And I think I'm talking to the middle, because I think the top knows exactly that we are the hardest working. If we stop for 1 minute, we shut their shit down. But okay. All right. I'm not going to do all this publicly. But I just want you to understand that we have a material condition down here that maybe the people in the middle don't understand. And because you don't understand that, you can't understand the intensity through which we engage in politics. And you look at us as if we're some type of oafs. Well, first of all, chances are no offense, if you look down, if you have a condescending gaze towards us, I want you to understand that we understand politics better than you could ever imagine, right? We understand this. We can dissect and we can politically, rhetorically eviscerate you, disembowel you in front of the entire world, which is why you don't bring us on your shows, which is why you have a condescending gaze towards podcasters. When some of the best goddamn questions I've ever been asked in my damn life came from a person whose podcast has 2 views, his and mine. That's why I'm using my platform to just tell everybody. Every time I run into an amazing podcaster, I'm going to tell everybody about it, because that's where you need to go to get the right questions answered, or at least asked. You can't get the right answer till you get the right question. And that's all we have down here. That's what we have to sustain us, is the knowledge. And so we're trying to tell you in the middle, we're trying to see where you are in the middle. People who are in the middle class, who are centrists, people who are running behind Bloomberg. We don't think you understand what's going on here, right? For you, this is a game. For you, this is a matter of political bragging rights. For you, this is about being able to slam dunk somebody on social media, like, hey, stunting on them hoes. You know what I mean? It's like it's like you just want to have the ability to call Mabel, who's a Republican, and say, we beat you this time, Mabel. Right? I get it. And so if you're playing from that perspective, then you don't really understand how serious this is for the rest of us. Right? We're in this politics thing because it's a matter of life and death. This is not a game. We'll talk more about this in the Patrons only episode. I need your help. We need your support. Go to patreon.com/the BPD show. And I will see the patrons in about 5 seconds. Everybody else, love you. See you tomorrow.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/the BPD show and support the Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.